The Duffy Affair brought shockwaves to the Canadian political scene this spring, and a lot has changed
These guys can't even
since
tell
then.
the difference between right and
The Stephen Harper we knew was a crusader for accountability. You don't need to search far before finding one of his 2005 statements.
to clean up government. When does a government decide it's time to become accountable? After 10 years? After they've proven just how reckless they can be with our money? Maybe it's when Canadians, for good reason, begin to question their accountability. I believe that when a government has to decide to become accountable, it's time to demand a higher standard of government. It's time to demand better. My name is Stephen Harper.
Demand better. Vote for the new Conservatives.
However, despite trying to make the story go away, it has stuck and revealed a different Stephen Harper in the process. We see today a number of contradictions dating as far back as Harper's only open caucus meeting.
My difficulty with the Prime Minister at this point, Peter, is that I don't think he's been forthcoming and honest on fairly simple questions when there appear to be contradictions. My instinct is when somebody doesn't answer questions, even simple and fairly innocuous questions, in a straightforward manner, there may be something else.
The media had been invited to watch Harper's speech and tried to hold the Prime Minister to account.
What about Nigel Wright?
MPs and senators drowned out reporters' questions. And when the room finally settled, reporters tried again.
Can you take some questions, please? Can you take some questions, please?
Harper refused to answer a single question.
Thanks, everyone.
Okay, guys, let's go.
But the media didn't budge, and neither did Stephen Harper.
Prime Minister, Canadians have questions they want answered.
He ignored the media, and soon caucus members came to his rescue.
When you're under the kind of cloud the Prime Minister admits his government is under, I think you would use every opportunity to be as forthright as possible.
Can you take some questions, please? Can you take some questions, please?
The contradiction in Harper's character aside, noticeable gaps in his story have come back to haunt him. First, his chief of staff, right-hand man, Nigel Wright. Did he act alone, or were there others involved? In July, Harper said Wright's decisions were made solely by Mr. Wright and was his responsibility.
It was Mr. Wright who made the decision to take his personal funds and give those to Mr. Duffy so that Mr. Duffy could reimburse the tax.
In question period, however, on October 24th, Harper told opposition leader Thomas Mulcair he informed very few people. Second, did Wright resign, quote, with great regret, or was he dismissed? In May, Harper accepted the resignation of Wright with great regret, adding a thank you to his tremendous contribution to his government. On October 28th, on a Halifax radio show, Harper said Wright made an inappropriate payment to Mr. Duffy, and he was dismissed. However, Harper's contradictions weren't the only thing to hit him. Duffy, now an outcast to the Conservative Party, is dropping bombshells. The first, on October 22nd, alleges Harper himself told Duffy to repay the money, and perception mattered more than facts.
After caucus on February 13th of this year, I met the Prime Minister and Nigel Wright. Just the three of us. I was ordered by the Prime Minister, pay the money back. End of discussion. Nigel Wright was present throughout. Just the three of us. Finally, the message from the PMO became, do what we want or else. Don't worry, Nigel said. I'll write the check.
The second, on October 28th, alleges a second check was written by Conservative lawyer Arthur Hamilton.
Nigel Wright arranged to have my legal fees paid. That's right. One check from Nigel Wright, No, ladies and gentlemen, there were 2 checks, at least 2 checks. The PMO, listen to this, had the Conservative Party's lawyer, Arthur Hamilton, pay my legal fees. He paid for my lawyer, Arthur Hamilton, a check, $13,560.
Wow.
That's right, Senators. Not one payment, but 2. Contrary to the Prime Minister's assertion on CFRB last week that he ordered repayment because Senate expense rules were, in his words, beyond the shadow of a doubt broken, he had my legal bills fully paid. Why would he do that? He would never do it if he believed my expense claims were improper. He did this because, as I've said from the start, this was all part of his strategy, negotiated by his lawyers and the Conservative Party's lawyers to make a political situation embarrassing to his base go away. The checks tell who's telling the truth and who is not. Mike Duffy, the man they now claim is a cheat, had more than $13,000 in legal expenses paid by Arthur Hamilton, the Conservative Party's lawyer from Castles Brock. This on top of the $90,000, which they say came from Nigel Wright. I've never seen a check from Nigel Wright, but I do have the check stub and the transmittal letter from Arthur Hamilton, the Conservative Party's lawyer. Are we independent senators or PMO puppets? When you read this documentation, colleagues, you'll see who was running this brutal campaign to destroy support among Canadians for a chamber of sober second thought, a chamber that would act as a brake on the unfettered power of the people across the way. Last week, Senator Carignan said the Senate is a rights-free zone. I couldn't believe it. He actually said the Charter of Rights and Freedoms, the bedrock of our Constitution, does not apply in the Senate. Talk about special status. Do Canadians really think senators should not be bound by the Charter of Rights? Do they want their democracy run without respect for the rule of law and due process? This assault on our rights undermines Canadians' respect for their Parliament. And if it's not stopped, it will set a very dangerous precedent.
So what do you think of Harper's handling of the Duffy Affair? Can he revive his integrity? Please do let us know in the comment section below, and if you like this video and would like to see more, do subscribe to this channel, and also like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and on Google+.